Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. We have got Chelsea news on this fine Tuesday morning. Wherever you are in the world, we're going to talk today about Karim Adeyemi, Ruben Dias. We've got some news regarding the Ballon D'or ceremony. Apparently, Chelsea Football Club have got the 25th best player in the world at our club. If you disagree and you also think right now Cole Palmer is the best player in the world, smack a like on this video, subscribe if you are new. Later on today, there'll be the second video uploaded. The 3 More Points podcast episode this week is coming today, so stay tuned to the channel. Make sure you're subscribed. If you want to buy anything from the Mega Store, check out this QR code. Use the discount code GBFC10 to get 10% off anything at the Chelsea Mega Store. Big week this for Chelsea. We just beat Newcastle in the Premier League. We've got Newcastle again tomorrow in the Carabao Cup. The preview for that is uploaded tomorrow morning. And then we've obviously got Man United away at the weekend, and they've just gone and sacked Erik ten Hag. I'm not going to talk about this for too long because this is a Chelsea news channel, but Erik ten Hag is no longer the United manager. Ruud van Nistelrooy is going to take over. Apparently, United are closing in on Ruben Amorim becoming the new manager. I don't think it's going to be quick enough for him to be in the dugout for the Chelsea game this weekend, but bloody typical, isn't it? Chelsea Football Club go to Man United. They're going to have the Erik ten Hag is gone party. They're going to have the Erik ten Hag is gone bounce just in time for us to go to Old Trafford. United have been our bogey team. If we can't beat them now, we're never going to beat them. But anyway, let's move and discuss the news that Chelsea have set their sights Borussia Dortmund star Karim Adeyemi, according to Jean Futur, tweeted by Vince Blue Footy. So, Chelsea interested in Karim Adeyemi. First of all, very good striker, very quick, 22 years old, scored 3 goals in 2 matches in the Champions League this season, has done very well, getting goals and assists already for Dortmund in the Bundesliga, despite Dortmund currently struggling in the German league. For me, this is an interesting one. Adeyemi is predominantly a striker. Chelsea do have Nicholas Jackson. And I think when it comes to looking at Chelsea being linked with strikers, I think when January comes, there will still be a conversation had about Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is currently at Galatasaray. There is a lot of rumours that still Chelsea will be interested in talking again and seeing if they can get him through the door in January. Of course, right now, you've got Christopher Nkunku scoring lots of goals this season, but never starting in the Prem. You've got Nicholas Jackson, who just keeps getting better and better and better. Going to talk about Jackson a lot in the podcast episode that's out later today. But Adeyemi's a good footballer. I just think that Chelsea at the minute, if we're going to prioritise other positions for signings, that's what we need to do. I think the goalkeeping position, even though we've bought flipping tons of keepers, that still needs to be resolved. Whether the resolution is by having Philip Jorgensen as the number 1, maybe it's waiting until Mike Penders comes next year, but he's only going to be like, 18, 19. I think at the minute when I see Chelsea interested in strikers, rumoured to be wanting to sign new strikers, all I want to see is Chelsea looking at defenders, which is why now, if we move into this news, this is very interesting indeed. Manchester City could sell centre-back Ruben Dias in 2025, and Chelsea are among those interested in signing him. This comes from Team Talk. To be quite honest, at this stage, it is the end of October. We're not even at flipping Halloween. We're nearly there. But at this point in time, it's silly season. When it comes to the speculative rumour mill of transfers. But even if you take Chelsea out of the equation here, let's just say hypothetically this is true. Let's say Manchester City want to sell Ruben Dias in 2025. If Ruben Dias is on the market, Chelsea have absolutely got to be in there for him. This is exactly the kind of defender. I think if Chelsea sign a defender, this is what we need. You've got Anselmino that we've bought in from Boca Juniors who joins next year. Everyone talks about Kendry Páez, Esteval. Anselmino is also going to be coming too. Looks like a really good centre-back. Again, very young centre-back. And I think Chelsea at the minute, average age of the team against Newcastle was 23.3, 23.7 years old. It's an incredibly young side. Ruben Dias, if he's available on the market next summer, yes, Man City probably wouldn't want to sell him to Chelsea, but if they're getting rid of him and Chelsea are looking to pay, I think Chelsea have got to be realistic now. We've bought a lot of players. The squad is looking really good. I think it's proven a lot of people wrong that looked at Chelsea's transfer strategy and were just like, yeah, they don't know what they're doing. They're clueless. They're buying too many players. It's not going to work. The reality of the situation is we've got a manager whose man management within the squad has been excellent. He's keeping players happy. But I do think that there is absolutely a weakness still when it comes to that back line. I think Levi Colwill has had a good start to the season. Not perfect, but he is the first choice left centre-back. Could be a captain if Reece James doesn't do consistently what Maresca wants him to do as a leader. I also think that Wesley Fofana's a good player, but question marks at the minute about that quality. I'm not entirely sure if it's there. I think Tosin is very much a squad player. Disasi and Badiashile, it's kind of an experiment that didn't quite work. There's been really good signings under this new owners. And then there's been like the kind of, why have we spent that much money on Axel Disasi, Badiashile, and then we've just let Trevor Chalobah go on loan to Crystal Palace. There's still a lot of questionable things that have been happening. But Ruben Dias, I'm not going to get too hyped up and excited about this, but if Chelsea do want Dias, then this is the absolute calibre of player. Dias is a winner, countless Premier Leagues now, Champions League winner with Man City. I don't know the exact reasons behind why Man City would even want to sell him. Would it even be possible that Chelsea could entertain an offer for him? This is the calibre of player that we need, though. If it isn't Dias, then it should be someone else. The centre-back position, I still think over time we will need to invest in. Which leads us to talk here again about another young defender. Chelsea scouts were in Brazil over the weekend to watch highly rated Palmeiras centre-back Vitor Reis. He's 18 years old, or Reis, I don't know, who has been tipped to captain Brazil in the future. I'm reading this, I'm like 18 years old, future Thiago Silva. Would be nice to get the next Thiago Silva in before he's blooming 35, 36, so we can have him for longer than what we had Thiago Silva for. 18-year-olds, though. I'm the one making the comparison here to Thiago Silva. No one else is, or people might be. I don't think this is the answer. I think at the minute, when you look at, again, Anselmino to come in next year, we've already signed him. We've got young defenders already. You've got Josh Achampong that Chelsea are currently trying to negotiate the contract, get him to sign a new deal. Yes, he's the fullback, but there's a lot of young defenders here at Chelsea. Maybe this is one of those Esteval-esque kind of situations where the player is a bit too good to not sign. Maybe it's one of those, but when you're comparing the potential of a Ruben Dias or another 18-year-old from Brazil, I think right now you add another top-class experienced centre-back to this Chelsea team, and you start to think and look at it and be like, well, this is closer to being a more complete unit because the attack is absolutely blistering. The midfield's coming together and we've made big changes there. The goalkeeping position, big problem. We're going to address that in the podcast later too. But when it comes to centre-backs, I don't know enough about this guy, but right now, I'm not in the position to question the Chelsea scouts anymore. Samu Omarodion, another hat-trick for Porto. More goals than games right now for him. We wanted him in the summer. Didn't know anything about him. I sat here on the channel and I criticised it. I was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we trying to sign these kind of players? And it's being proven that we actually really do know what we're talking about. So keep an eye on this one. AC Milan director Jeffrey Moncada is obsessed with Chelsea midfielder Carney Chukwuemeka, who could be an option in January. Look, let's not beat around the bush here. Chukwuemeka's a really good footballer. But Chelsea and Maresca, for whatever reason, they don't really see him as part of the plan. Cesare Casadei comes on quicker than Chukwuemeka when Chelsea are 4 goals up in a Europa Conference League game. So with that being said, Carney is too good to be stuck on the bench at Chelsea and be 3rd or 4th choice off the bench in the B-team games. This isn't going to stay. He's going to go, and as much as I don't agree with it, I think when you look at the quality in the squad, you can understand it. And we should start thinking about watching AC Milan, shouldn't we, if we haven't already? They flipping got half the old Chelsea team there. Tomori, Pulisic, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Tammy Abraham. Who haven't they got from Chelsea at some point? AC Milan want Chukwuemeka. As much as I think he's a good player and he's being absolutely overlooked right now, maybe it is purely a tactical thing where Maresca looks at other players in the squad and thinks, well, he's better at taking on information. Maybe he fits like that really niche, nuanced mould of player that Maresca seemingly wants when it comes to role identification at Chelsea right now. So Carney, I fully expect him to go in January. Now, Cole Palmer has finished 25th in the Ballon d'Or rankings. A lot of people will say to you now that the Ballon d'Or doesn't mean anything. It's kind of been like the importance of it's been watered down. It was dominated by Ronaldo, Messi. I think there was the year when I think Modric won it, Benzema won one. There was also a lot of discussions about Lewandowski, should have won it. I think the whole process of this has kind of just been diluted. It doesn't hold the prestige that it maybe once did back in the days when Pavel Nedved was lifting the trophy, I think in 2003. But Cole Palmer finishing 25th, right? I'm not that bothered because I've got my thoughts on Palmer. I think Chelsea have got the best player in the world right now. In terms of the way that he's performing right now, I don't think there's anyone better. But I can certainly tell you now, Cole Palmer finishing 25th, 5 places behind Hakan Çalhanoğlu of Inter Milan, is absolutely fraudulent. So, if you still care about the Ballon d'Or, I think this could be the year when you should decide that you don't care anymore and just focus on what football is, which is what we see every weekend. Results come in, results come, results go, new game, next game, whatever. These awards are all about popularity of certain players and politics into football based. Well done to Rodri. I think he's a deserved winner. I do kind of think that the long gone now are the days where it's just going to all be about like the Maverick Wizards on the wing that are going to win these awards, the goal scorers. There is a big shift in football. It's not quite the same as it once was, but also it's evolved. Cheers for that, Pep Guardiola. We move. Nottingham Forest and Chelsea fined 125 grand and £40,000 respectively by the FA for their mass confrontation in Premier League clash before the international break. Both clubs accepted their charges. Forest 125 grand, Chelsea 40 grand. Sometimes and again, I kind of feel for Forest here in a way because it was as much everybody as the other one, you know? Like, where do they get these numbers from? Like, when it comes to fines in football, yes, Chelsea Football Club are happy to pay certain players like 250 grand a week, and then you get fined 40 quid. It's kind of like water off a duck's back kind of thing. But like, I want to know where the numbers come from. Like, how is it 125,000 for Forest and 40,000 for Chelsea? I don't know. We move. The final story that we're going to discuss here today, the rise of Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea. How the 23-year-old has become one of Enzo Maresca's most important players so quickly, helped by an incredible understanding with Cole Palmer, and how a change in his lifestyle off the pitch has made that possible. This is from Bobby Vincent. This is more like an opinion, I guess, really, but I think I do want to give the praise and the credit to Nicholas Jackson because week on week, I'm watching Nicholas Jackson and I'm seeing him evolve into such a brilliant footballer. We talk about him a lot in the podcast episode that's coming on later today. But to round up this video, because at the start of it, we talk about potential of Osimhen again in January. Chelsea might be interested in Karim Adeyemi. I think the only reason Chelsea should be looking 100% to be in the market for a striker right now would be if, God forbid, something was to happen to Jackson injury-wise. Nkunku's obviously good enough to be able to step up and do it. He scored 8 goals already this season in all competitions. Not starting Premier League games either, so that's just in the cup ones. But I think Jackson has become such a key player for Chelsea. The way that he can elevate Palmer. Palmer's obviously elevating everybody at the club right now because he's just that good. But I think a lot of Palmer's success is also down to the selfless nature of the way that Jackson plays. And at the start of this season, at the end of the transfer window, when we missed out on signing Victor Osimhen, I was gutted, not only because I was streaming on GBFC for 14 hours and then we ended up not signing the guy. And that's obviously a bit disappointing when you get yourself hyped up about signing a big player. But I think Jackson has become one of the world's current best strikers right now. And I mean like world's best being like top 15, top 20 strikers, okay? I'm not saying he's better than Harry Kane. I'm not saying he's better than Robert Lewandowski or Erling Haaland. But he's scored... Only Ollie Watkins and Haaland have scored more Premier League goals than him as a striker since he joined the club. 23 years old. It's absolutely fantastic. And he keeps growing and he keeps showing just how dynamic he is and the variety that he has in his game. I think he's going to become the complete striker. I really do. Let me know your thoughts on Jackson in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on the whole Ballon d'Or debacle shenanigans if you feel like it. And let me know what you think about Ruben Dias. I don't think there's much legs in this right now, but if there is to be any truth in it, I, for one, absolutely love this idea if City would even consider selling him to us. But Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned on GBFC. Another piece of content coming your way later. Come on, you Blues.